Hey guys, so who remembers Don Bluth's accidentally but on purpose dig at Disney release of Thumbelina? Okay, so most of you are probably asking who's Don Bluth? Yikes. Well, the internet is a vast and wondrous place for the right rabbit holes. Don't get lost on your way. Slight tangent aside, I'll just crack on with making my take on Thumbelina. In the translated original, Hans Christian Andersen doesn't really give an in-depth description of what Thumbelina actually looks like, and lines like, "She was the loveliest little girl you can imagine and as frail and fine as the petal of a rose" really don't help me too much. So putting that aside, I went with the Don Bluth version, which has a very simple colour palette, and I'll be using a mix of both Anchor and Puppet's crochet floss. I will of course leave a full list of all the materials I used in the description box below. Animated Thumbelina wears simple green ballerina slippers. Since I'm changing the scale of this project from my usual wool pieces, I didn't really need to make the shoes separately. I mean, I could have, but really there was no need, and I quickly found out that, crocheting at this scale in particular was just, it was just, I'm just gonna leave it at that. So anyway, I just crocheted the shoes and carried on to crochet the rest of each leg as one piece. I then joined the legs together and carried on working upwards. With the legs joined together, I needed to create the tiny armature for the feet. I cut some wire to fit, but I didn't double it up in this case since it's just so small. I then shaped it and wrapped each leg section with a piece of card cut out from a loo roll tube. I used the smallest amount of quilt batting here to wrap around the structure before stuffing the whole thing into the legs. After switching colour to the green for the belt, I paused there and went back to crochet the skirt. I crocheted in the back loops from the waist, and using double crochet I worked my way all the way down till I reached the length I wanted, which was roughly just above her ankles, if she had any ankles, that is. I did add some surface crochet around the border where the slippers met the foot, just to neaten up that line. So anyway, after I was done with the skirt, I went back to carry on up the torso towards the arms. I crocheted the arms and added puffy sleeves at the top of each one, and I find it's usually easier to add any shoulder details to the arms before they're attached to the body. This works out better for me, as I don't have to fight the entire amigurumi later if I've forgotten to do something. When I reached the arms, I needed to add some wire here as well to make the little hands posable. So I cut some and bent the ends inwards to make sure there were no sharp edges. I skipped the quilt batting here because her arms are just so tiny, and adding stuffing as well as wire just wouldn't fit. So far so good, her arms are looking good. I carried on and finished the rest of her off camera, and I'll come back after the head is complete and the eyes are fully installed. She looks good, right? I must admit there was an Alice in Wonderland clam babies moment that I don't want to talk about, but you will never see it. Admittedly, she's not the size of my thumb, but she's pretty close. More like the size of my hand. She's Angelina. Oh my god. Angelina. Okay, so this is the part where I'd like to say that her hair was pretty simple and turned out simply pretty, but a bit time consuming. She has a long ponytail, so I crocheted a wig cap first, then went back to add the details around her hairline and also the long hair strands. Okay, let's discuss this. That was the plan. However, what I ended up with was something that looks like this. So she has these weird sort of fringe thing and these little tufts of hair behind her ears, and I don't like it. They look strange, they're weird. So in the end, the plan that I had with installing the strands, her hair would have just been too bulky and it would have made her top heavy. So I then had to basically ditch that. So this new wig cap that I did, slightly better. So the plan is going to be to just use this as the wig cap with a little bit of a fringe. I know I've changed the hairstyle a little bit, but it will work out. It will work out. It does look different, but it will work out. And then I'll attach the ponytail later on. Anyway, I'm going to do this off camera and then I'll join you back with the beauty shots. But let's carry on with the video. So Thumbelina has 2 hair accessories, and the first one was a simple green hairband. To do that, I used half double crochet stitches and just basically a straight line. Nothing really that needs to be explained here. The other accessory is the flowers around her ponytail, but I can't really get any flower details at this scale, so I turned to my seed beads instead and did some beadwork. Okay, so while I finish off that second beaded hair tie, there are a few things I'd like to say about this project. I wanted to try out some micro crochet, but as it turns out, I really don't have the patience for it. I mean, I don't even know why I even tried it, but you know, we've got to push our limits and push ourselves and see what we can do. This is literally the smallest I will allow myself to go because it was incredibly time consuming. So usually my projects take just under a week with time for editing, but this took me right up to crunch time, and I don't like that. I do not like being under that much pressure. So I think I spent most of my time just trying to find and see the stitches. As for keeping count of the stitches, well, that tested my eyesight in ways I didn't even think possible. So really what I'm trying to say is that micro crocheters, my hat's off to you. Good job, you do you, but it's not for me. Anyway, I hope you liked my video, guys. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, comment, and even consider subscribing if you like the content I create. Don't forget to hit that bell button to be notified whenever I upload a new video. And here's my little Handalina. Enjoy, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.